The Victorious Imagination, the Sentai that takes place mostly on a train. The Sentai with a Sixth Ranger who's always looking forward to his own demise. My name is Alex, and in this video I'll be talking about Resha Sentai ToQger. This season is one of my favorite Sentai seasons and the second season that I have watched, but the first that I can remember. The first one was Time Ranger. I came across Este's video talking about the season that Power Rangers skipped and became interested in the season. Then I found a fan-made Power Rangers version of ToQger called Rail Riders by Zenith Films and got even more interested. So I watched the entire season of ToQger and loved it. But enough about me, let's get into it. As usual, spoilers for the season, Galaxy Line SOS, ToQger vs. Kyoryuger, Resha Sentai ToQger Goes and Returns, Super Tokyu Nana Go of Dreams, and the Farewell Ticket Special. The 38th season in the Super Sentai franchise, and the theme for this season is trains. This team centers around 6 Rangers who travel from station to station on a train in order to prevent the Shadow Line from spreading their darkness on the world. The main 5 Rangers, Right, Tokyu Ichigo, Tokachi, Tokyu Nigo, Mio, Tokyu Sango, Hikari, Tokyu Yongo, and Kagura, Tokyu Gogo, come from the town of Subarugahama, which was taken over by the Shadow Line, leading to them getting relocated onto the Rainbow Line and becoming adults and making them not be able to remember their childhood due to their town being taken over and forgotten. They were chosen to be ToQgers because of how strong their imaginations are, and as for the 6th Ranger, Akira Nijino, who was a Shadow Kaiju named Zalam, who reformed and became a Rainbow Line mechanic and later Tokyu Rokugo. There is an extra ranger for one of the specials, and it is Tokyu Nanago, who is the conductor. Ticket also becomes Tokyu Rokugo for another special. All the characters in this season are really silly, especially Akira to an extent, the conductor, Ticket, and Wagon. But this makes sense because the season is a much lighter feeling compared to the other Sentai seasons that I've seen. Now, the main 5 Rangers in this season are an interesting case because, well, they were children who were turned into adults so they could use their ToQger powers to defeat the Shadow Line. The Rangers were already childhood friends, so in a way, their relationship with each other felt like sitcoms that start with the main crew being already friends with each other. I feel that gives the show more time to develop the characters and their relationships with each other too. Really quick, I want to talk about Ticket and Right because Right keeps calling Ticket a puppet and doesn't understand how Ticket can talk, so he keeps trying to figure out how he talks by catching him lacking. And Right's attempts at figuring out how he works is just a silly little moment in the show, just a good running gag. But the character I enjoyed the most was Akira just because of how odd and different he was from the other Rangers. Like, he's a Shadow Kaijin from the Shadow Line who saw a rainbow and surrendered to the Rainbow Line and became a Rainbow Line mechanic. He works for the Rainbow Line in an attempt to atone for his sins, and I think he's a really fun and complex character because while he has his moments of being very fun because of his very deadpan demeanor, he still believes he doesn't deserve to stay alive because of his past. I always enjoy villain becomes a hero storylines and the way ToQger handles this, especially with the villains still giving him a hard time due to him becoming a hero. Now, as for the villains, I really like the Shadow Line's main leader, Emperor of Darkness Z, or Zet. Zet's debut is when the ToQgers go to an amusement park and he finds himself hanging around Right all day. He is fascinated by the sparkle in his eyes and wants it for himself, but since he's from the Shadow Line, he cannot. His motivations for wanting to take over the Rainbow Line is to make the Earth habitable for him. I think his motivation is so tragic because all he wants to do is experience the light and happiness but can't stay in the light for more than a few hours without getting weak. Back to his debut and introduction, it caught me off guard because I didn't expect for him to be a villain. When he first appeared, I thought that Zet was either going to be an ally or a one-off character that Right helps in that episode. But when it was revealed that he was the evil leader that the ToQgers had been against this whole time, I was genuinely shocked. He just wanted to have one good day where he could be happy, but it was cut short due to him not being able to stay away from the darkness for too long. Moving on, the ToQger's main objective is to defeat the Shadow Line from taking over the Rainbow Line and converting the world into darkness. Like the Kyoryuger villains, they gather human emotion to help connect the darkness within people in order to take over the stations more effectively. The ToQgers travel from station to station, so the show takes place mostly on a train or at different locations in every episode. I thought it was really cool how they travel to different locations in every episode because I love to see how each location is different from each other. Makes the show feel fresh instead of showing the same few locations in Sentai quarries like the other seasons do. Since they travel so often, they are always reaching towards that overarching goal of defeating the Shadow Line for good. But the episode I really enjoyed didn't contribute to the overarching goal fully because it was focused on a more goofy subject, which was the episode where the ToQgers try their hand at directing a show. I love to see how shows are made and behind the scenes, but this episode was pretty much just what if kids got the opportunity to create a show. So everything down to the dialogue and costumes were very goofy. ToQger has its fair share of goofy episodes, but this one takes the cake for me. On the topic of goofiness, let's move on to crossovers and specials. Like the previous video, I've seen all but one of the crossovers, which is the Ninja crossover, because I haven't seen that season yet. The first special I will talk about is the Farewell Ticket special. This special focuses on Ticket and Akira trying to get revenge on another puppet who killed his girl Jennifer. This one is absolutely more comedy based, and you can tell just by how they had Ticket morph into Tokurokugo to fight his rival. This special is pretty much just puppet versus puppet, with their handlers not really caring for the fight. For the movie special, Galaxy Line SOS, I don't have that much to say about this one. I really like the space aspect in the Rainbow Line being able to operate in space. It expands the universe in a good way. For ToQger Goes and Returns, what I really liked about this one is that it shows the ToQgers in their adult lives and that they are still friends with each other. This special takes place in the past with the ToQgers traveling back in time to fight the Shadow Line once again. The only issue is that they're adults so they don't have their imagination anymore. The coolest part about this special is that we got to see the older ToQgers fight alongside their younger counterparts, and we finally get to see the conductor become a ToQger, which is Tokyu Nanago. Now for the crossover, ToQger vs Kyoryuger. I went into this in my last video, so I will go into it a bit here. I really enjoyed this crossover because I love ToQger and I love Kyoryuger, and I liked seeing the ToQgers interact with the Kyoryugers, and I thought it was really cool how King was able to see the Rainbow Line despite being an adult. During the movie, the villains play a song that reverts the characters back into children, and since Uchi heard more of the song than the other Rangers, he was turned into a baby. And I thought it was hilarious how Akira took care of him and straight up bailed on a battle because he had a baby with him, which is the right thing to do, but it was just funny, and he could have just left him with the conductor or wagon for that matter. But anyways, ToQger was a fantastic season. I loved it so much. Everything in the season was so fun, and I can't wait to see right in boonboomger. Thank you for watching, and if you're still here, comment your favorite ToQger.